When you sit in stillness, pondering the question that echoes in your heart, Lord, why hasn't my faith brought the answer yet? You are not asking a distant deity, but the divine essence within you. Faith is not a mere wish nor a desperate plea. It is the art of assuming the end as already fulfilled, of walking in the conviction that what you desire is already yours. The delay, if you perceive one, is not a denial. It is the perfect orchestration of unseen forces aligning to bring about what is best in the most harmonious way. God, who dwells within, works in silence, shaping the contours of your reality with precision and love. Every seeming delay is a reminder to trust the process, to strengthen the bond between your inner conviction and the outer manifestation. Faith is the seed planted in the soil of your imagination. You water it with belief, nourish it with gratitude, and shield it from doubt. But the growth of that seed happens beneath the surface, hidden from your eyes. Just as the roots spread unseen to anchor the tree, so too does God work invisibly in the depth of your being. Do not uproot your seed with impatience or fear. Trust that the unseen is as real, if not more so, than what you can touch or see. When the answer hasn't come yet, it may be because your inner state hasn't yet fully aligned with your desire. Ask yourself not if the world has changed, but if you have changed. Have you truly moved into the feeling of the wish fulfilled? Have you embraced the joy and peace of knowing that it is done, even if no outward sign yet confirms it? Silence is not absence, it is the womb of creation. In the silence, God prepares the way. Every moment of waiting is an opportunity to deepen your faith, to practice living as if the answer has already come. It is in these moments of stillness, when nothing seems to be happening, that the most profound transformations occur. Doubt and impatience are shadows that obscure the light of your faith. Cast them aside, for they only serve to delay what is already on its way. Speak to yourself with conviction, declaring that the fulfillment is inevitable. Your words, when spoken in faith, hold the power to shape reality, for they are echoes of divine creation. The journey of faith is not one of seeing to believe, but of believing to see. Persist in the assumption that your prayer is already answered. God's silence is not a void, it is the quiet assurance that everything is unfolding perfectly. Keep your eyes fixed on the promise, not the problem. Know that what you seek is already seeking you, and in the divine timing, the two shall meet. Faith is the unseen force that connects the desires of your heart to the reality you wish to experience. It is not a passive state of hoping for something to happen, rather, it is an active and conscious decision to assume that your wish has already been fulfilled. Faith operates as a bridge between the world of imagination and the tangible world, bringing what you envision into being. It is the creative power within you, the divine spark that mirrors the infinite possibilities of God Himself. When you hold faith in your heart, you are engaging with the highest form of spiritual alignment. Faith is not about looking at the external world for confirmation, it is about trusting the unseen, believing in the invisible, and holding steadfast to the feeling of your wish being fulfilled, even when the evidence is not yet visible. This is the essence of creation, for everything in the physical world begins as an idea, a belief, a feeling. Faith is the foundation upon which that transformation from idea to reality occurs. Faith requires you to step into the role of the Creator. It asks you to embody the state of already having, even when your senses tell you otherwise. To have faith is to recognize that the power of creation does not come from external circumstances or conditions, but from within you. This power is limitless, unchanging, and always available, but it requires your active participation. By choosing to believe in the reality of your desire, you align yourself with the divine intelligence that orchestrates the universe. There is a profound truth in understanding that faith is not a reaction to favorable circumstances, but a cause that brings those circumstances into being. When you wait for conditions to improve before you believe, you place your power outside yourself. You make your faith conditional upon the external, and in doing so, you deny the creative power within. True faith begins with the unwavering decision to trust, to feel, and to live as though your wish is already fulfilled, regardless of what the outer world may show. The strength of faith lies in its ability to transcend logic and reason. Faith does not require evidence, it is the evidence. It does not wait for the world to confirm its validity, because it knows that the world is a mirror reflecting the state of your inner being. When you embody faith, you are not deceiving yourself, you are aligning yourself with the truth of who you are, an extension of the divine, a co-creator with God. Faith affirms that what you desire is not only possible, but inevitable when you hold it firmly in your consciousness. Faith is not meant to be fleeting or occasional, it is a state of being. It calls you to be steadfast, unwavering, and persistent, even in the face of adversity. When challenges arise, they are not signs that your faith has failed, but opportunities for you to deepen it. These moments test your resolve, asking whether you truly believe or if your belief is dependent on immediate gratification. Faith that endures is faith that creates. It is the quiet strength that carries you through uncertainty, knowing that the end is already secure. One of the greatest misconceptions about faith is the idea that it is passive. Faith is deeply active. It engages your imagination, your feelings, and your actions. To have faith is to see with the inner eye what is not yet visible to the outer. It is to feel the reality of your desire so completely that you cannot help but act as though it is already true. This is not pretense or delusion, it is the most profound act of creation. By living from the end, you call forth the conditions necessary for your desire to manifest. Faith is also inseparable from the power of assumption. To assume the reality of your desire is to claim it as already yours. This assumption is not based on wishful thinking, but on the recognition that creation begins within. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you activate the divine laws of manifestation. You begin to align your thoughts, words, and actions with the state of already having, and in doing so, you bring that state into being. This is the creative process in its purest form, and it is powered by faith. Many people struggle with faith because they confuse it with hope or longing. Hope is a beautiful sentiment, but it is not the same as faith. Hope looks to the future, faith lives in the present. Faith does not say, one day it will be mine. It declares, it is mine now. This present tense affirmation is what sets faith apart and gives it its creative power. Faith does not wait for conditions to improve, it improves conditions by transforming your inner state. When you live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the outer world has no choice but to conform. The practice of faith requires discipline and dedication. It asks you to focus your thoughts and feelings on the desired outcome, rather than the current reality. This is not always easy, especially when the world around you seems to contradict your desires. But this is where faith proves its strength. It is in these moments of contradiction that your faith is refined, strengthened, and purified. The more you persist in believing in the unseen, the more you train your mind to focus on what you want rather than what you fear. Faith is intimately connected to your imagination, for it is through imagination that you create the feeling of your wish fulfilled. The mind is the workshop of creation, and imagination is the tool that shapes your reality. When you imagine your desire as already real, you begin to feel the emotions associated with it: joy, gratitude, peace. These feelings are the language of the soul, the signal to the divine that you are ready to receive. By maintaining this feeling, you align yourself with the frequency of your desire, allowing it to flow effortlessly into your experience. The role of faith is not to force or control, but to allow. Faith does not strive, it trusts. It does not question how or when. It knows that all things are unfolding perfectly. This trust is what gives faith its power. It releases the need to manipulate the outer world and focuses instead on cultivating the inner state. When you let go of the how and the when, you free yourself to fully embrace the now. And it is in the now that creation occurs. Faith, at its core, is an act of surrender. It is the willingness to let go of doubt, fear, and resistance, and to rest in the assurance that what you desire is already done. This surrender is not a weakness, but a profound strength, for it allows you to tap into the infinite power of the divine. When you surrender to faith, you open the door for miracles to enter your life, for you align yourself with the limitless potential of God. Faith is not something you acquire, it is something you cultivate. It is a choice you make moment by moment, a decision to trust the unseen over the seen, the eternal over the temporary. Every time you choose faith over doubt, you strengthen your connection to the divine and move closer to the fulfillment of your desires. This is the path of creation, the journey of becoming, and it begins with the simple yet profound act of believing. When you look at the world around you, the greatest miracles often unfold in silence. The seeds that sprout into mighty trees do so beneath the soil, unseen and unheard. The sun rises without a sound, illuminating the world with quiet majesty. In much the same way, God works in silence, orchestrating the intricate details of your life with precision and love, even when you cannot see it or feel it. The silence of God is not a void or an absence, it is a profound stillness filled with intention and purpose. In moments when you feel that nothing is happening, know that everything is happening. Now, the forces that align your circumstances, the whispers of divine guidance, and the shaping of your destiny all occur in this sacred quiet. This silence is where God weaves the unseen threads of your desires into the tapestry of your life. Impatience often leads us to believe that silence is a sign of neglect or indifference, but nothing could be further from the truth. Silence is the space where faith is tested and strengthened. It is in these silent intervals that you are called to trust not in what you can see, but in the unseen. Trust that God's timing is perfect, and trust that even when you cannot perceive progress, divine forces are working tirelessly on your behalf. The silence is also an invitation. It is an opportunity to quiet the noise of your own doubts, fears, and distractions, and to listen with your heart. God speaks most clearly in the stillness, when the chatter of the mind subsides and the soul becomes receptive. This is where divine wisdom flows, where you are reminded that the universe is conspiring in your favor, even when outward appearances suggest otherwise. God's silence is a reminder to rest in the assurance that the outcome is already secure. It is not your role to control or force the process, it is your role to align with it. By trusting the silence, you step into the flow of divine harmony, allowing the unfolding to happen in its perfect time and way. Resistance and worry only delay what is already destined to come, while trust and surrender open the door to miracles. The greatest works of God often unfold in ways that seem invisible or inconsequential at first. Like a seed germinating underground, these works take time to manifest visibly. Yet beneath the surface, the roots grow deep, laying the foundation for a stable and enduring outcome. This is the wisdom of the silent process, an unseen preparation that ensures not only the fulfillment of your desires but their sustainability and abundance. Silence is not only a space of divine action but also a reflection of divine nature. God does not shout, he whispers. He does not rush, he moves with perfect timing. To understand and align with this rhythm, you must embrace the silence, not fear it. Silence is not a pause in the journey, it is the journey itself. It is where your soul learns patience, resilience, and the unshakable trust that what is meant for you cannot miss you. When you look back on the moments in your life where it seemed God was silent, you will often find they were the moments of greatest growth. These are the times when you were being prepared for something far greater than you could have imagined. The silence was not a withholding of blessings, but a time of refinement, where you were molded into the person capable of receiving and sustaining those blessings. God's silence is his assurance that all is well. It is the quiet confidence of a divine plan unfolding perfectly, even when you cannot see the full picture. Like a master artist adding brushstrokes to a canvas, he works meticulously, each stroke contributing to the masterpiece of your life. And just as the artist does not reveal the painting before it is complete, so too does God often work in ways that are hidden until the perfect moment. Embrace the silence, for it is not emptiness but fullness. It is not stagnation but preparation. It is the sacred space where miracles are born, where faith is nurtured, and where the greatest works of God are accomplished. Trust in the silence, and you will discover that it is not the absence of action, but the presence of divine power in its most profound form. Patience is not merely the act of waiting, it is a profound spiritual discipline that aligns your inner world with the divine timing of creation. In the journey of life, it is easy to become restless or anxious when your desires do not manifest as quickly as you hope. Yet patience is the bridge that connects the promise of your dreams to their fulfillment. It is in this space of waiting that your faith is deepened, your character refined, and your alignment with God's plan strengthened. Patience calls you to trust in the unseen, to believe that even when nothing appears to be happening, everything is unfolding exactly as it should. It asks you to release the need to control outcomes and to rest in the assurance that the timing of the universe is perfect. While the physical world often demands instant results, the spiritual process operates on a divine schedule, one that ensures the highest good for all involved. In the moments when patience is most challenging, remember that delays are not denials. They are opportunities for growth, for preparation, and for alignment. When your desires seem out of reach, it is not because they are being withheld, but because the foundation is still being built. Just as a gardener must wait for the seed to sprout, you must allow the unseen forces of creation to do their work. The soil is being prepared, the roots are growing deep, and the conditions are aligning to bring forth the fruit of your efforts. Patience is also a teacher. It teaches you to release resistance and embrace trust. Resistance arises when you push against the flow of life, insisting that things must happen on your terms and timeline. But life has its rhythm, and your task is not to fight it but to harmonize with it. Patience allows you to let go of the struggle and to rest in the knowledge that what is meant for you cannot pass you by. It is in this surrender that you find peace, even in the midst of waiting. When you cultivate patience, you open yourself to the lessons hidden within the process. Waiting is never wasted time, it is a sacred space where transformation occurs. In this space, you learn resilience, humility, and gratitude. You discover the strength to persevere, even when the path is unclear. And you develop the capacity to appreciate the journey, not just the destination. Each moment of waiting becomes an opportunity to deepen your connection with God and to align your desires with His will. Patience also aligns your emotions with your intentions. When you rush or force things, you often act from a place of fear, doubt, or lack. These emotions create resistance and disrupt the flow of creation. Patience, on the other hand, is rooted in trust and faith. It allows you to remain calm and centered, even when the outer world does not yet reflect your inner vision. This emotional alignment is essential because your feelings are the vibrational signal that attracts your desires into being. In the quiet moments of waiting, patience calls you to focus on the present. Too often, impatience pulls you into the future, causing you to worry about what has not yet happened. But the present is where life unfolds, where creation takes place. By practicing patience, you bring your attention back to the now, grounding yourself in the only moment that truly exists. This presence allows you to see the beauty and blessings of the current moment, even as you move toward your desires. Patience is not passive, it is deeply active. It requires you to hold the vision of your desire with unwavering faith while taking inspired action toward its realization. It is not about sitting idly by, waiting for something to happen, but about participating in the process with trust and confidence. Each step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goal. And each step taken with patience strengthens your alignment with the divine flow. The power of patience lies in its ability to transform your perspective. It shifts your focus from lack to abundance, from frustration to gratitude, from doubt to faith. It reminds you that life is not a race but a journey, and that each moment is a gift. When you practice patience, you begin to see delays not as obstacles but as divine timing in action. You trust that everything is happening for your highest good, even when it does not unfold as you expect. Patience also deepens your connection with God. It is an act of surrender, a declaration of trust in His wisdom and love. When you are patient, you acknowledge that God's plan is greater than your own, and that His timing is always perfect. This trust allows you to let go of the need for immediate results and to rest in the assurance that all is well. It is in this state of surrender that you find true peace, knowing that your desires are being fulfilled in the best possible way. Patience is a reflection of your inner state. It reveals your capacity to trust, to wait, and to align with the flow of life. It is not a test of endurance, but a journey of transformation, where you learn to let go of resistance and embrace faith. When you practice patience, you align yourself with the divine rhythm of creation, allowing your desires to manifest in their perfect time and way. And in this alignment, you discover that the journey is as beautiful and meaningful as the destination. Silence is not emptiness, it is fullness in disguise. It is the sacred space from which all creation emerges, the womb where dreams, desires, and divine plans gestate before they are born into reality. In this quiet space, the forces of the universe work with precision and intention, weaving the unseen threads of life into a tapestry of infinite possibilities. To dismiss silence as inactivity is to misunderstand its profound power, for it is within silence that the most significant movements of life begin. When you plant a seed in the soil, the most critical transformations occur beneath the surface, hidden from view. The seed splits open, roots push down, and the foundations of growth are laid in utter stillness. Likewise, silence is the fertile ground where your desires take root. It is a sacred pause, a space of becoming, where the divine aligns circumstances, prepares opportunities, and shapes outcomes beyond your comprehension. Silence is not an absence of communication, but a higher form of it. In the stillness, God speaks not through words, but through whispers of intuition, feelings of peace, and moments of clarity. These silent messages guide you toward your purpose and remind you of the divine order unfolding in your life. When you quiet the noise of doubt and distraction, you become attuned to these subtle cues, allowing them to direct your steps with grace and certainty. In silence there is trust. It is a space where faith is both tested and affirmed. When you cannot see the evidence of progress, when the outer world seems unchanged, the silence challenges you to believe in the unseen. It invites you to rest in the assurance that what you have asked for is already on its way. This trust is not passive but active, a deep inner knowing that aligns you with the creative power of the universe. The womb of silence is where divine timing is orchestrated. Just as a baby must grow to full term before entering the world, so must your desires develop in the silence before manifesting. Rushing the process would lead to incompleteness, just as prematurely breaking the silence would disrupt the harmony of creation. Trusting this timing requires patience, a surrender to the rhythm of life that is often beyond your understanding. Silence also serves as a mirror, reflecting the state of your inner being. In the quiet, you cannot hide from yourself. The stillness brings to light your fears, your doubts, and your unspoken longings. It is in this confrontation that transformation begins. The silence gives you the space to release what no longer serves you and to realign with the truth of who you are. It is not merely a passive waiting, but an active preparation for what is to come. Creation, whether of a new life, a new idea, or a new reality, requires this sacred pause. The silence is not an interruption, but an integral part of the process. It is the incubation period where potential is nurtured and strengthened. Just as the caterpillar must dwell in the cocoon before emerging as a butterfly, you too must honor the silence as a necessary stage of your journey. It is not a time of doing but of being, where you align with the essence of what you wish to create. The power of silence lies in its stillness, its ability to hold space for what is yet to be. In a world that often values noise, action, and immediate results, silence can feel uncomfortable or even threatening. Yet it is precisely in this discomfort that growth occurs. The silence asks you to slow down, to listen, and to trust the process. It teaches you that creation is not something you force, but something you allow. When you embrace silence, you step into the flow of divine creativity. You recognize that there is a time for every purpose under heaven, and that the silence is as much a part of creation as the manifestation itself. It is not a void to be filled, but a fullness to be experienced. It is the space where you align with the divine, where you listen to the still, small voice, and where you become a co-creator of your reality. The silence is not empty, it is brimming with possibility. It is the womb of creation, where the seeds of your desires are nurtured and brought to life. To honor the silence is to honor the process, to trust in the unseen, and to recognize that the greatest works of God are often accomplished in the quietest of ways. In this sacred stillness, miracles are born, and the infinite unfolds. Overcoming doubt and impatience is a crucial aspect of manifesting your desires and aligning with the divine flow of life. These two inner challenges, doubt and impatience, are often the very forces that disrupt the process of creation, pulling you away from the peace and certainty required to bring your dreams into reality. To overcome them is not just to wait passively or think positively, but to actively cultivate a state of trust, surrender, and unwavering belief in the unseen. Doubt is the whisper of uncertainty that questions whether what you desire is possible. It creeps in when progress seems slow, when the path ahead feels unclear, or when the evidence of your dreams is not yet visible. Doubt can feel logical, presenting itself as a voice of reason, caution, or even self-preservation. Yet it is a barrier to the very faith that anchors you in the process of manifestation. Doubt weakens the vibrational signal you send out, creating resistance that delays or even blocks the fulfillment of your desires. To overcome doubt, you must first recognize it for what it is: a fear of the unknown. Doubt thrives in the absence of visible evidence, but faith does not require evidence. It is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith is the antidote to doubt, a deliberate choice to trust in the unseen forces of creation. When you feel doubt creeping in, remind yourself of the times in your life when things worked out despite uncertainty. Reflect on the moments when what seemed impossible became possible. These reflections strengthen your faith and remind you that doubt is often unfounded. Impatience, on the other hand, is the urge to rush the process, to see immediate results without allowing time for natural unfolding. It stems from a sense of lack or urgency, a fear that if something doesn't happen now, it never will. Impatience creates a tension within you that disrupts your alignment with the divine flow. It shifts your focus from gratitude for the present moment to frustration over what has not yet come. To overcome impatience, you must cultivate the practice of presence. The present moment is where life unfolds, where creation happens, and where peace resides. When you focus on the now, you free yourself from the anxieties of the future and the regrets of the past. Presence allows you to see the small blessings that are already manifesting, reminding you that progress is being made, even if it feels imperceptible. Each step forward, no matter how small, is part of the larger journey. Another way to combat impatience is to trust in divine timing. The universe operates on a schedule that often surpasses human understanding. What may feel like a delay is often preparation. It is the time needed to align circumstances, refine your character, or open opportunities that you cannot yet see. Trusting in this timing requires surrender, a release of the need to control outcomes, and a willingness to flow with life's rhythm. Doubt and impatience often feed on one another, creating a cycle of frustration and uncertainty. To break this cycle, you must actively choose a mindset of trust and gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful force that shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present. It elevates your vibration and aligns you with the frequency of abundance. When you practice gratitude, you affirm that you are already in the process of receiving, which reinforces your faith and calms the restless energy of impatience. Silence and stillness are also essential tools in overcoming these inner challenges. In the quiet moments of reflection, you can connect with the divine presence within you. Silence allows you to hear the whispers of intuition, the assurances of faith, and the guidance of your higher self. It is in these moments of stillness that doubt and impatience lose their power, replaced by a deep sense of peace and certainty. Action, too, plays a role in overcoming doubt and impatience. While faith requires belief in the unseen, it also calls for inspired action in the seen world. Taking steps toward your desires, no matter how small, reinforces your faith and provides tangible evidence of progress. These actions do not need to be grand or dramatic, they simply need to be aligned with your vision and intention. Each step taken in faith is a declaration to the universe that you are ready to receive. Remember that overcoming doubt and impatience is a journey, not a one-time decision. It requires consistent effort, reflection, and self-awareness. Be gentle with yourself in this process. When doubt arises, meet it with understanding rather than resistance. When impatience flares, acknowledge it as a natural part of being human and choose to return to trust. Each time you do, you strengthen your alignment with the divine flow and move closer to the realization of your desires. The power of persistent assumption lies in its ability to shape your reality, acting as a bridge between your desires and their manifestation. Persistent assumption is not merely wishful thinking, it is a deliberate state of mind where you continuously align your thoughts, feelings, and actions with the reality you wish to create. It is the unwavering belief that what you desire already exists in the unseen realm and is on its way to becoming visible in your life. At the core of this power is the principle that consciousness creates reality. What you consistently hold in your mind and feel as true becomes the blueprint for your life. Your assumptions are the seeds you plant in the fertile ground of your subconscious mind. With persistence, these seeds grow into the circumstances, relationships, and experiences that shape your world. Just as a farmer does not plant a seed one day and expect a harvest the next, you must nurture your assumptions with patience and faith, trusting that the process is unfolding perfectly. Persistent assumption is not about force but about consistency. It is the quiet, steady application of belief, even in the face of contradictory evidence. When doubts arise, persistent assumption does not fight against them, it simply returns to the truth of the desired state. This persistence is what allows the subconscious mind to accept your assumption as fact, creating a new vibrational pattern that aligns with your vision. One of the keys to harnessing the power of persistent assumption is emotional alignment. It is not enough to think about what you desire, you must feel it as though it is already yours. Emotions are the energy that animates your assumptions, giving them the vitality needed to manifest. When you assume persistently, you cultivate a state of being that matches the reality you wish to experience. This alignment between thought and emotion is what draws your desire into your life. Persistent assumption also requires imagination. The mind cannot hold on to what it cannot see. By vividly imagining your desired reality, you create a mental picture that serves as a focus for your thoughts and feelings. Imagination allows you to step into the experience of having what you want, reinforcing your assumption and making it feel real. Through repetition, this imagined reality becomes a natural part of your consciousness, dissolving resistance and replacing doubt with certainty. In the practice of persistent assumption, time becomes irrelevant. You are not concerned with when your desire will manifest, because you are already living in the end result in your mind and heart. This detachment from time removes the urgency that can lead to doubt or impatience. Instead, you trust that the manifestation is inevitable, allowing the universe to orchestrate the perfect timing and circumstances for its arrival. One of the challenges of persistent assumption is maintaining your focus in a world filled with distractions and contrary evidence. It requires discipline to keep your thoughts aligned with your desired reality, especially when the external world seems unchanged. However, this is where the true power of persistence lies. By holding firm to your assumption, you train your mind to prioritize your inner reality over external appearances. Over time, the outer world begins to reflect the changes that have already occurred within. The power of persistent assumption is amplified when combined with inspired action. While the act of assuming creates the inner alignment necessary for manifestation, action provides a channel for that alignment to express itself. These actions do not stem from fear or desperation, but from a sense of confidence and trust. They are the natural outflow of a mind and heart aligned with their desired state. Each step you take reinforces your assumption, creating momentum that propels you toward your goal. Persistent assumption is not a one-time effort, but a way of life. It is a commitment to living from the end result, to embodying the reality you wish to create in every moment. This requires vigilance and self-awareness, as well as the willingness to let go of limiting beliefs and habitual thoughts that no longer serve you. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes, until persistent assumption is no longer a conscious effort, but a seamless part of who you are. At its heart, persistent assumption is an act of faith. It is the trust that the unseen is more real than the seen, that the power within you is greater than any external circumstance. This faith is not blind but rooted in the understanding that you are a co-creator of your reality, endowed with the ability to shape your life through the thoughts and feelings you hold most persistently. When you assume the best, when you persist in the belief that your desires are already yours, you align with the infinite creative power of the universe. In this alignment, miracles become natural, and the extraordinary becomes commonplace. Persistent assumption transforms not just your outer circumstances, but your inner state, filling you with a sense of peace, confidence, and certainty. It allows you to live in the joy of having even before your desire is physically present. This joy, this feeling of already being, is the true manifestation, and it is the foundation upon which the visible reality is built. The road you walk may seem long and winding, and the destination feels hidden behind clouds of doubt and uncertainty. Yet within you lies a divine assurance, a quiet whisper that echoes from the depths of your soul, "I will make a way." This is not the voice of your reasoning mind, but the infinite wisdom of God, who speaks directly to your heart. He does not see the obstacles as you see them, he sees only the victory that is already yours. What appears impossible in your world is but a moment of transformation in his. The closed doors, the dead ends, and the towering walls are illusions of limitation, meant not to hinder but to redirect you toward the path that is truly yours. God moves not according to human logic, but according to divine purpose. When he speaks, "I will make a way," it is not a promise, it is a fact. It is a reality that exists now, waiting for you to align your belief with his word. You may ask how such a way can come to pass. The how is not your concern. Your task is to trust, to see with the eyes of faith rather than the eyes of fear. The moment you believe, the unseen becomes seen, and the impossible becomes inevitable. The victory is not out there in some distant future, it is within you, waiting for your recognition. God is not bound by time or space. He operates in the eternal now, where your victory is already complete. Do not dwell on the size of your problems, for they pale in comparison to the greatness of God. Shift your focus from what you lack to what he has already provided. In the stillness of your heart, acknowledge that he is the source of all good things. It is his pleasure to give you the desires of your heart, not through struggle but through grace. His ways are higher than yours, and his plans for you are greater than you can imagine. The obstacles you face are not signs of failure, they are the refinement of your faith. Each challenge draws you closer to the realization that God's power is made perfect in your weakness. When you feel you cannot go on, that is the moment he carries you. When the night seems darkest, that is when his light breaks through. He does not abandon you in the storm, he commands the storm to bring you safely to shore. Lift your eyes to the heavens and see the hand of God moving in your life. What you perceive as delay is divine timing, orchestrating every detail for your highest good. The universe is conspiring in your favor because it is governed by the Creator who loves you beyond measure. Trust not in appearances, but in the eternal truth that God is for you, not against you. If he is for you, who or what can stand against you? The victory is near, not because you have earned it, but because he has willed it. Rest in the assurance that his promises are unchanging. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. When he declares that he will make a way, it is done. Let this truth fill your heart with peace, for the battle is not yours, but the Lord's. Stand firm in your faith, for it is the key that unlocks the doors you thought were shut. Speak not of what you see, but of what you know in your spirit. Proclaim the victory even before it manifests, for in God's realm it is already so. Walk forward with confidence, knowing that the way is being prepared, even now. Your path to victory is near, and nothing can stop what God has ordained. The road ahead may appear impassable, filled with insurmountable challenges and obstacles that seem to defy resolution. In moments like these, when all logic and reasoning falter, the heart must lean on a deeper truth, a promise that does not waver, even in the face of adversity. God's assurance that he will make a way is not a fleeting hope or a hollow sentiment. It is an eternal truth rooted in his unchanging nature. To understand this promise, one must first step beyond the confines of human understanding. The mind, bound by logic and reason, seeks explanations and tangible evidence before it can believe. Yet, faith operates on a higher plane, where evidence is not required, and trust precedes the manifestation of the unseen. God's promise is not subject to the limitations of the physical world. When He declares that He will make a way, it is not dependent on circumstances, resources, or human efforts. His words carry the weight of creation itself, for it was through His word that the heavens and earth were formed. When God promises to make a way, He speaks to the core of your being, calling forth the divine potential within you. It is not merely about changing external circumstances, but about transforming your perception of them. What may seem like a closed door or an impossible situation is often a divine redirection, guiding you toward a path far greater than the one you envisioned. God's ways are higher than our ways, and His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. What looks like a dead end to the human eye is, in truth, the beginning of a miraculous unfolding. To trust in this promise is to release the need to control every aspect of your journey. It requires surrender, not as an act of defeat, but as an act of profound faith. Surrendering to God's will means acknowledging that His plan for your life is infinitely wiser and more loving than anything you could conceive. It means letting go of the fear that whispers, "What if it doesn't happen?" and embracing the certainty that, in God's timing, all things are made perfect. This trust is not passive, it is an active alignment with God's word. It is a choice to believe, even when circumstances suggest otherwise. Faith is not the absence of doubt, but the decision to move forward despite it. When you trust in God's promise, you align yourself with His power, opening the way for His miracles to manifest in your life. This trust does not demand that you have all the answers, it asks only that you believe the one who does. Consider the stories of those who walked this path before you. The Israelites, standing before the Red Sea with Pharaoh's army in pursuit, faced a situation that seemed utterly hopeless. Yet God made a way where there was no way, parting the waters and leading His people to safety. The walls of Jericho, impenetrable and unyielding, fell not through human strength but through obedience to God's instructions. Time and again, Scripture reveals that God specializes in the impossible, turning what seems like a barrier into a bridge. In your own life, the promise remains the same. God's nature does not change. The same power that parted the Red Sea and brought down Jericho's walls is at work in your circumstances. However, this power is activated through faith. To trust in God's promise is to speak His word over your life, declaring victory even before it is visible. It is to walk forward, not in fear but in confidence, knowing that the one who promised is faithful. Trusting in God's promise also means resisting the urge to rely solely on your own understanding. The human mind is limited, often clouded by doubt and fear. When you face challenges, it is natural to analyze, strategize, and seek solutions. While planning and effort have their place, they must be anchored in faith. Trusting in God's promise requires a shift from self-reliance to God-reliance. It means acknowledging that your strength alone is not enough, but His grace is sufficient. This journey of trust is not without its trials. There will be moments when the way forward seems hidden, when prayers appear unanswered, and when the weight of waiting feels unbearable. Yet even in these moments, God is at work. Delays are not denials, they are divine preparations. Every season of waiting refines your character, strengthens your faith, and prepares you for the blessings ahead. Trust is built in these quiet moments, where you choose to hold on to God's promise despite the silence. To trust in God's promise is also to find rest in His presence. The turmoil of worry and anxiety fades when you anchor yourself in His word. His promise becomes a refuge, a place of peace amidst the storm. This trust is not about ignoring reality, but about seeing a higher reality, God's reality. It is about knowing that His hand is guiding you, even when the path is unclear. It is about believing that He is working all things together for your good, even when you cannot yet see how. In trusting God's promise, you open yourself to His guidance. He speaks in stillness, in the quiet moments of prayer and reflection. His voice may not always come as a thunderous command. More often, it is a gentle nudge, a subtle direction that leads you forward. Trusting in His promise means being attentive to His voice, sensitive to His leading, and willing to follow wherever He guides. This trust is a partnership. While God promises to make a way, He invites you to walk in faith. It is not about passively waiting for circumstances to change, but about stepping forward, even when the ground ahead seems uncertain. Every step of faith reinforces your trust, and with each step, the way becomes clearer. God honors those who trust Him, rewarding their faith with breakthroughs that surpass understanding. To trust in God's promise is to rest in the assurance of His love. He does not promise to make a way out of obligation, but out of His boundless care for you. You are His beloved, and His plans for you are good. When He says, "I will make a way," it is not a mere possibility, it is a certainty. Trust in this truth, and you will see the impossible become possible, the unseen become seen, and the way made clear. Life often feels like a series of trials and challenges that demand your attention, energy, and focus. The human mind naturally gravitates toward these difficulties, scrutinizing every obstacle, every problem, and every potential setback. It is easy to become consumed by the enormity of what stands before you. The mind fixates on limitations, replaying fears and doubts, until they feel larger than life itself. But this fixation blinds you to a greater truth, a divine reality that transcends these apparent difficulties. What you focus on, you empower. When you dwell on obstacles, you feed them your energy, allowing them to grow larger in your perception. The closed door, the lack of resources, or the rejection you face can become towering giants if you let them. Yet God calls you to shift your gaze, to lift your eyes from the temporary troubles of this world and fix them on His eternal promise. This is not a denial of reality, but an awakening to a higher reality, a truth that God's power is greater than any challenge you face. The divine assurance of victory is not rooted in what you see with your physical eyes, but in what you know within your spirit. The eyes of faith perceive beyond the tangible, recognizing that God is already at work, even in situations that seem impossible. This assurance is not based on your own strength, wisdom, or ability. It is anchored in the unchanging nature of God. He is faithful, and His promises are sure. When He declares victory, it is not a wish or a possibility, it is a certainty waiting to unfold. Shifting your focus from obstacles to divine assurance requires a deliberate act of will. It is a choice to reject fear and embrace faith. Fear whispers that the mountain is too high, the river too wide, the enemy too strong. Faith, on the other hand, declares that the mountain will move, the river will part, and the enemy will be defeated not by your might but by the power of God. Faith is not blind optimism, it is a profound trust in the one who holds all things in His hands. The challenges you face, no matter how daunting, are not the final word in your story. They are temporary conditions, subject to change under the authority of God's Word. When you shift your focus, you begin to see these challenges for what they truly are, opportunities for God to demonstrate His glory in your life. What appears as a setback is often a setup for a breakthrough. The walls that seem to block your path are the very walls that God will use to reveal His power. This shift in focus transforms your perspective. Instead of seeing problems as insurmountable, you begin to see them as stepping stones. Each challenge becomes a chance to grow in faith, to deepen your trust in God, and to witness His miraculous provision. The weight of worry and anxiety lifts as you realize that the battle is not yours but God's. He fights for you, and His victory is assured. All you are called to do is believe and move forward in faith. When you fix your eyes on God's promise, you align yourself with His power. Your thoughts, words, and actions begin to reflect His truth rather than the lies of fear. This alignment is not merely a mental exercise, it is a spiritual transformation. It changes the way you approach life, replacing doubt with confidence, despair with hope, and striving with peace. The obstacles that once loomed large now seem small in the light of His greatness. To focus on divine assurance is also to acknowledge God's sovereignty over all things. He is not limited by time, space, or circumstance. The situation that seems beyond repair to you is well within His ability to redeem. The resources you lack, the opportunities you've missed, the mistakes you've made, none of these can thwart His plans for your life. He is the God who creates paths in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. His power is not diminished by your challenges, it is magnified through them. This shift in focus also allows you to tap into the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding. When you rest in the assurance of His victory, you are no longer tossed about by the storms of life. The waves may rise and the winds may howl, but your foundation is secure. You know that the God who calmed the sea with a word is the same God who speaks peace into your life. This peace is not the absence of trouble, but the presence of God in the midst of it. As you embrace this divine assurance, you begin to see God's hand at work in every aspect of your life. What seemed like coincidences or random events are revealed as part of His divine orchestration. Doors that were closed begin to open, often in ways you never expected. People, opportunities, and resources are drawn into your life, not by chance but by His design. This is the power of shifting your focus. When you look to Him, you invite His miracles into your reality. This transformation is not instant, nor is it without its struggles. There will be moments when doubt creeps in, when the weight of the challenges you face feels overwhelming. In these moments, remind yourself of who God is. Speak His promises over your life, declaring victory even when it seems far away. Surround yourself with His word, letting it saturate your mind and heart. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. As you immerse yourself in His truth, your focus will naturally shift from the obstacles to the assurance of His victory. When you fix your eyes on God, you also become a source of encouragement to others. Your faith inspires those around you, showing them what is possible when you trust in His promises. Your life becomes a testament to His goodness, a living example of His faithfulness. In this way, your victory is not just for you, but for everyone who witnesses it. Through your story, others are drawn to the same divine assurance that sustains you. This shift in focus is an act of worship. It is a declaration that God is greater than your problems, that His promises are true, and that His power is sufficient. By choosing to focus on Him, you honor His sovereignty and invite His presence into every aspect of your life. This act of faith not only changes your circumstances, but transforms your heart, drawing you closer to the one who is the source of all victory. Challenges have a way of shaking the very foundation of our faith, often leading us to question the path we are on and the strength we possess. They come in waves, sometimes relentlessly, testing our patience, endurance, and belief. Yet within every challenge lies a profound opportunity and invitation to draw closer to God's power and to experience the refining of our faith in ways that cannot happen otherwise. Faith is not forged in moments of ease or abundance. It is shaped in the crucible of difficulty, where the heart must wrestle with doubt, fear, and uncertainty. These moments, though uncomfortable and sometimes painful, are not random or purposeless. They are divinely orchestrated to strengthen the bond between you and God. Challenges strip away the illusions of self-sufficiency and control, revealing the truth that without God you can do nothing. This realization, though humbling, is the very foundation of faith. God does not send challenges to harm you, but to draw you closer to Him. Like a master craftsman shaping a masterpiece, He uses every trial to refine and purify you. The heat of adversity burns away the impurities of fear, pride, and doubt, leaving behind a faith that is strong and unshakable. This process may not feel pleasant, but it is necessary. Just as gold is refined in fire to reveal its brilliance, so too are you refined through the trials you face. These challenges also serve as reminders of your dependence on God. In moments of struggle, it becomes clear that human strength and wisdom are limited. The solutions you once relied upon may fail, leaving you with no choice but to turn to God. This dependence is not a sign of weakness, but of wisdom. It is in these moments of surrender that God's power is most evident. When you let go of your need to control and allow Him to lead, He steps in to do what only He can do. Through these refining experiences, you begin to see God's faithfulness in a new light. The challenges you face become testimonies of His ability to provide, protect, and guide you. Each obstacle overcome is a reminder that He is with you, that He has never left you, and that He will never forsake you. These moments build a history of trust between you and God, a foundation that strengthens your faith for the challenges yet to come. Drawing closer to God's power requires an intentional shift in perspective. It is easy to view challenges as setbacks, as interruptions to the plans you have for your life. But in God's economy, nothing is wasted. Every difficulty, every delay, and every disappointment is a tool in His hands, used to shape you and prepare you for the blessings He has in store. This understanding transforms the way you approach challenges. Instead of resisting them, you begin to embrace them as opportunities for growth and deeper intimacy with God. As you face challenges, you are given the chance to lean into God's promises. These promises, found throughout Scripture, are not just words on a page, they are living, breathing assurances of His love and faithfulness. They remind you that He is for you, not against you, and that He works all things together for your good. Clinging to these promises in times of difficulty strengthens your faith and reinforces your trust in His power. Challenges also have a way of revealing the true condition of your heart. They expose the fears, doubts, and insecurities that may be hiding beneath the surface. While this can be uncomfortable, it is also a gift. Once these areas are brought to light, they can be surrendered to God. In His hands, your weaknesses are transformed into strengths. The very things that once held you back become the platforms from which His glory is revealed. In drawing closer to God's power, you also learn to rely on His guidance. Challenges often leave you feeling uncertain about which direction to take or what steps to make. This uncertainty is an invitation to seek His wisdom. God speaks in the stillness, in the moments of quiet prayer and reflection. As you turn to Him for direction, you cultivate a deeper sensitivity to His voice. This reliance on His guidance not only helps you navigate the challenges you face, but also strengthens your relationship with Him. The refining power of challenges extends beyond your individual journey. As your faith grows and your trust in God deepens, you become a source of encouragement for others. Your testimony of God's faithfulness in the midst of difficulty inspires those around you to trust Him with their own struggles. In this way, your challenges serve a greater purpose, impacting not only your life but the lives of those you encounter. This process of refinement is not quick or easy, but it is worth it. Each challenge overcome brings you closer to the person God created you to be. It molds your character, strengthens your resolve, and deepens your reliance on Him. Through the refining fire of adversity, you are transformed into a vessel fit for His purposes, equipped to carry out the plans He has for your life. Challenges also teach you the importance of perseverance. Faith is not a one-time decision, it is a daily commitment to trust God, even when the path is unclear. Perseverance is the act of holding on to His promises, of continuing to believe even when the evidence suggests otherwise. It is this perseverance that produces a mature and steadfast faith, a faith that can weather any storm. As you draw closer to God's power, you begin to see His hand at work in every aspect of your life. The challenges that once seemed overwhelming now serve as reminders of His strength. The difficulties you face become opportunities to experience His provision and grace. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a testament to His faithfulness and a reminder that He is with you every step of the way. Challenges are not obstacles to be feared, but opportunities to be embraced. They are the means by which God refines your faith, draws you closer to His power, and prepares you for the blessings He has in store. Through these experiences, you come to know Him not just as a distant deity, but as a loving Father who walks with you through every trial, who strengthens you in every weakness, and who leads you to victory with a power that can never fail. The human mind, in its natural state, seeks to understand and control the world around it. It analyzes, plans, and strategizes, attempting to create certainty in a life that is often anything but certain. Yet, no matter how meticulous our efforts or how carefully we calculate, there are times when our plans fail, doors remain shut, and answers evade us. It is in these moments, when our own abilities fall short, that we encounter a divine truth. God does not need visible paths to accomplish His work. His ways transcend human understanding, and His power is not limited by what we can see, predict, or comprehend. To fully grasp this truth, one must first confront the limits of human perception. Our eyes and minds are conditioned to rely on the tangible, to trust what is seen and dismiss what is not. But God operates in realms that are often invisible to us. He works behind the scenes, orchestrating events and aligning circumstances in ways that may appear nonsensical or impossible from our vantage point. What we perceive as a dead end, He sees as an opportunity to demonstrate His unmatched power. Consider the stories of faith in Scripture, where God repeatedly made a way where none seemed possible. When the Israelites stood at the edge of the Red Sea with Pharaoh's army pursuing them, they faced an apparent impossibility. There was no visible escape, no logical solution. Yet God, in His infinite power, parted the waters, creating a path through the sea where none had existed before. This moment serves as a reminder that God's provision is not bound by earthly constraints. He creates paths that defy logic and understanding, revealing His sovereignty in the most miraculous ways. This principle extends beyond the grand miracles of history and into the everyday lives of believers. There are moments when you may feel trapped by circumstances, hemmed in by obstacles that seem insurmountable. You may feel the weight of doors that remain closed despite your best efforts to open them. It is in these moments that God invites you to trust in His ability to make a way. His timing is perfect, and His methods, though often mysterious, are always for your good. The challenge lies in letting go of the need to see the path before trusting in its existence. Faith is not dependent on evidence, it is the conviction of things hoped for and the assurance of things not seen. When you place your trust in God, you release the need to have all the answers. You surrender the urge to force outcomes and instead rest in the knowledge that He is working on your behalf. This surrender is not a sign of weakness, but a profound act of strength, rooted in the certainty of His promises. God's ways are not like ours. Where we see obstacles, He sees opportunities. Where we see impossibilities, He sees potential. He is not limited by human logic or constrained by the boundaries of time and space. His creativity knows no bounds, and His solutions often come in ways that defy expectation. The path He provides may not look like what you envisioned, but it will always lead to His intended destination. In trusting God to make a way, you align yourself with His divine plan. This alignment requires patience, as His timing rarely matches our own. It is tempting to grow frustrated or disheartened when the answers you seek do not come immediately. Yet in these moments of waiting, God is often working behind the scenes, preparing the way forward. The delay is not a denial, but a divine orchestration, ensuring that all things come together perfectly according to His purpose. Faith in God's ability to make a way also requires a willingness to move forward, even when the path is unclear. Just as the Israelites had to step into the parted waters of the Red Sea, you too must take steps of faith, trusting that the way will become clear as you go. These steps may feel uncertain or even risky, but they are acts of trust that invite God's power into your circumstances. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a declaration of your belief in His ability to provide. The truth that God can make a way where none exists is not just a source of hope, it is a call to action. It challenges you to shift your perspective from the visible to the invisible, from the temporary to the eternal. It invites you to see your circumstances not through the lens of human limitation, but through the eyes of divine possibility. This shift in perspective transforms not only your outlook, but also your actions, enabling you to move forward with confidence, even in the face of uncertainty. As you trust in God's ability to make a way, you also begin to see His hand at work in the details of your life. The seemingly random events, the unexpected encounters, and the unplanned detours are revealed as part of His greater plan. What once appeared as obstacles now become markers of His faithfulness, guiding you along the path He has prepared. This awareness deepens your faith as you recognize that His ways, though mysterious, are always purposeful. God's provision often comes in ways that stretch your understanding and expand your capacity to trust. He may provide solutions that challenge your expectations or lead you down paths that seem unfamiliar. Yet in these moments you are reminded of His sovereignty and His ability to work all things together for good. The path He creates may not always be easy, but it will always be right, leading you closer to Him and to the fulfillment of His promises. Trusting God to make a way where none exists is an act of worship. It is an acknowledgement of His power, wisdom, and love. It is a declaration that He is greater than any obstacle you face and that His plans for you are good. This trust is not passive but active, requiring you to step forward in faith, even when the path is unclear. It is a journey of surrender, reliance, and unwavering belief in the God who makes a way, even in the most impossible circumstances. Walking through life often feels like navigating a complex maze, with twists and turns that seem impossible to predict. At times, the journey can feel overwhelming, especially when barriers arise, blocking the way forward. These barriers can take the form of financial struggles, strained relationships, unfulfilled dreams, or inner doubts that whisper words of defeat. Yet, these obstacles are not permanent. They are not insurmountable walls, but challenges placed on your path to refine your faith and reliance on God. The promise you must hold on to is this: no matter how immovable these barriers seem, God is the ultimate opener of doors. God's power is not constrained by human limitations. The barriers that appear so overwhelming to us are nothing in comparison to His omnipotence. Where we see closed doors, He sees opportunities to showcase His ability to make the impossible possible. These moments of obstruction are often when He demonstrates His greatest miracles, revealing the depth of His power and the precision of His timing. He does not merely open doors, He creates opportunities that align perfectly with His divine purpose for your life. When faced with obstacles, it is natural to feel frustration or even despair. You may question why the door remains closed or why the solution you prayed for seems delayed. However, what appears to be a barrier is often a protective measure or a redirection from God. A closed door may be His way of steering you away from harm or leading you towards something greater than you imagined. His perspective, infinite and all-knowing, ensures that every no is for a higher purpose and every delay serves as preparation for what lies ahead. Barriers also serve as tests of faith, inviting you to trust in God's sovereignty even when you cannot see the path forward. Trust does not mean passivity, it means actively believing that God is working behind the scenes, even when the evidence is not yet visible. This faith is not blind but rooted in the history of God's faithfulness, both in your life and throughout the testimonies of others who have walked the path of faith before you. When you trust Him, you affirm that He is bigger than the obstacles in front of you, and that His power is sufficient to overcome them. One of the most profound truths about God's ability to open doors is that He often does so in ways that defy human logic. His methods are not bound by the constraints of time, resources, or human understanding. He is the God who parted the Red Sea, who brought water from a rock, and who fed thousands with a few loaves and fish. These stories are not merely historical accounts, but living testimonies of His unchanging nature. The same God who performed these miracles then is still at work today, capable of opening doors in your life in ways you cannot begin to imagine. God's timing is another critical aspect of His door-opening power. Often what feels like a delay is not a denial but a strategic pause. During these moments, God is working to align circumstances, prepare your heart, and position you in the right place for His blessings. The waiting period is not wasted time, it is a season of growth, refinement, and preparation. As you wait on Him, He strengthens your character, deepens your faith, and equips you for the opportunities He is preparing to place before you. It is also essential to recognize that God's ability to open doors does not negate your responsibility to act in faith. He invites you to step forward even when the way is not fully clear. Just as the priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant had to step into the Jordan River before the waters parted, you too must take steps of obedience and trust, believing that God will make a way. These acts of faith activate His power in your life, demonstrating your confidence in His promises. Obstacles are not always external often. The greatest barriers we face are internal. Fear, doubt, and feelings of inadequacy can paralyze us, preventing us from moving forward even when God has opened a door. In these moments, it is crucial to remember that His strength is made perfect in your weakness. He does not call the qualified, he qualifies the called. Your inadequacies are not obstacles to him, but opportunities for his glory to shine through you. When you step out in faith despite your fears, you make room for his power to work through you in extraordinary ways. God's ability to open doors also extends to the restoration of opportunities you may feel you have lost. Sometimes closed doors are the result of our own mistakes, mischances, or decisions made in haste. Yet God's grace is greater than your shortcomings. He is the God of second chances, the one who redeems and restores. He can reopen doors you thought were permanently closed or create entirely new opportunities that surpass what you had hoped for. His plans for you are not thwarted by your failures, but are fulfilled through his relentless love and mercy. When God opens a door, it is unmistakable. The path forward becomes clear, and the obstacles that once seemed immovable fade away. However, his open doors often require courage and faith to walk through. These opportunities may challenge you to step out of your comfort zone, to embrace uncertainty, and to trust him in ways you never have before. Yet as you walk through these doors, you discover that his provision is always sufficient, his guidance is always present, and his promises are always true. God's door-opening power is not just about personal blessings, it is about positioning you to fulfill his purpose. The opportunities he provides are often connected to his greater plan for your life and the lives of those around you. As you walk through the doors he opens, you become a vessel of his love, grace, and power, impacting the world in ways that extend far beyond your individual story. Every door he opens is an invitation to step into the fullness of his calling for your life. As you reflect on the barriers in your life, remember that they are not permanent fixtures, but temporary challenges designed to deepen your reliance on God. They are opportunities to witness his power, to grow in faith, and to experience the miraculous ways he makes a way where there seems to be none. When you trust in him, you align yourself with his plans, positioning yourself to walk through the doors he opens and to step into the abundance of his promises. In the intricate dance of life, barriers and obstacles are not the final word. They are moments where God invites you to witness his power and faithfulness. Each closed door, each immovable wall, and each waiting period is an opportunity to deepen your trust in the one who holds all things in his hands. He is not constrained by the limits of human understanding, nor is he bound by the impossibilities that we perceive. When he opens a door, no one can shut it, and when he closes a door, it is always for a greater purpose. Let this truth anchor your heart. God is working for you, even when you cannot see it. Trust in his timing, act in faith, and release the fears that hold you back. The doors he opens will not only lead you to his blessings, but will also shape you into the person he has called you to be. Embrace the journey, for in every obstacle there is an opportunity to see his glory revealed. The barriers before you are not the end, they are the beginning of a testimony that will declare his greatness. Step forward with faith, knowing that the God who calls you is faithful to lead you through. Life is a journey where seasons change, each bringing its unique challenges and blessings. The season of hardship, though often painful, is not the final chapter of your story. It is in these moments, when the weight of the world feels unbearable, that a divine transformation begins to unfold. The hand of God is not absent but actively at work, preparing you for an extraordinary revelation. In the stillness of your struggle, there is a divine promise. Every tear you shed, every sigh of despair, and every whispered prayer carries the seed of a greater purpose. God sees not only where you are, but also the magnificent vision of where he is taking you. This season is not punishment, but preparation, a refining fire molding you into the vessel capable of carrying the blessings you are destined to receive. Imagine the power of faith as a quiet yet unyielding force, aligning your heart with the infinite wisdom of the Creator. When you align yourself with this divine energy, you are not merely enduring the hardship, you are participating in a sacred process of renewal. You are not forsaken, you are chosen. God is orchestrating every detail of your life, transforming what appears to be a setback into the very foundation of your breakthrough. Speak to yourself in faith. not as a victim of circumstance, but as a co-creator with the Almighty. Your words carry the vibration of belief, shaping your reality. Declare that this season of hardship is the fertile ground for miracles. See yourself not as bound by the chains of difficulty, but as free, empowered by the limitless possibilities of God's grace. God does not abandon His children. He whispers to you in the quiet moments, urging you to trust, to surrender, and to believe. You may not see the full picture now, but faith is the bridge that connects you to the promise of a better tomorrow. When your spirit is aligned with God, even the most barren season becomes a garden in bloom. The trials you face are not random. They are the divine chisels shaping your character, your purpose, and your destiny. With each challenge, you are being drawn closer to the heart of God, where His plans for you reside. These plans are far greater than you can imagine, filled with hope and a future that exceeds your dreams. Do not resist this season, embrace it. See it as an invitation to grow, to trust, and to rise. God's timing is perfect, and His plans are flawless. The very hardships that once threatened to break you will become the testimony of God's faithfulness, the story of how He turned your life around. Stand firm in your faith, for the author of your story is still writing, and the best is yet to come. Life is a journey filled with ebbs and flows, moments of joy and seasons of difficulty. When hardship enters your life, it can feel overwhelming, as though the weight of the world is pressing down on your shoulders. But this is not the final destination of your story, it is merely a chapter. Every trial, every challenge, and every tear carries within it the seeds of transformation. Think of the seasons in nature, how winter, though cold and barren, is necessary for the rebirth of spring. In the same way, the season of hardship you are experiencing is preparing you for something extraordinary. God uses these moments not to harm you, but to refine you, to mold you into the person you are destined to become. It is in the pressure of difficulty that diamonds are formed. This transformation is not always visible in the moment. You may not see the purpose behind the pain, but know that God's vision extends far beyond what your eyes can perceive. He sees the end from the beginning and knows how every thread of your life weaves together to create a masterpiece. The struggles you endure are not signs of abandonment, but of divine craftsmanship. God is shaping you, pruning what no longer serves you, and strengthening you for the journey ahead. When you feel like giving up, remind yourself that this hardship is not permanent. It is a refining fire, not meant to consume you, but to purify and strengthen you. The transformation taking place within you is preparing you for a future filled with blessings you cannot yet imagine. Trust in the process, for God is turning your trials into triumphs, shaping your story into a testament of His unwavering love and faithfulness. In every moment of our lives, whether joyful or sorrowful, whether filled with clarity or clouded by confusion, there is one constant God sees. He is not distant or detached, but intimately aware of every detail of your life. When you cry out in pain or feel the weight of silence in your prayers, know that God's eyes are upon you and His hands are at work in ways you cannot yet perceive. There is no detail too small, no moment too fleeting, that escapes His divine notice. Consider the intricate design of the universe, from the vast galaxies to the tiniest grains of sand. If God cares enough to place the stars in their courses and ensure the lilies bloom in their time, how much more does He care for you, His beloved creation? He knows every strand of hair on your head, every beat of your heart, and every thought in your mind. Even in moments when you feel invisible or forgotten, His presence surrounds you, watching over you with love that is immeasurable and unending. Life often feels chaotic, like a puzzle with missing pieces. You may wonder why certain things happen or why certain prayers seem unanswered. In these moments, it's easy to feel lost, as though life is spinning out of control. But the truth is, God is the master orchestrator. He holds every piece of your life in His hands, weaving them together into a masterpiece far greater than you can imagine. What may appear as confusion to you is, in fact, a divine design unfolding in perfect timing. When you face hardship or uncertainty, it can feel as though God is silent. But silence does not mean absence. Just as a composer pauses between notes to create a beautiful melody, God's stillness often holds profound purpose. It is in these quiet moments that He works most powerfully, arranging circumstances and aligning your path with His divine will. Trust that even when you cannot see His hand, He is orchestrating everything for your good. There is a comfort in knowing that nothing in your life is random or without meaning. Every moment, every encounter, every challenge is part of a grander plan. Even your mistakes and detours are not wasted. God has the power to take what was meant for harm and turn it into something good. He can use your past, your pain, and even your failures to propel you into the destiny He has prepared for you. His plans are redemptive, always aiming to restore and elevate you to a higher purpose. Imagine the story of Joseph, who was sold into slavery by his brothers and endured years of imprisonment and suffering. To the human eye, it seemed like his life was spiraling into tragedy. Yet God was orchestrating every moment, using what appeared as setbacks to position Joseph for a greater purpose. When the time was right, Joseph rose to a place of influence, becoming a vessel for God's provision and salvation for many. What others meant for harm, God used for good. This same principle applies to your life. You may not understand the why in your current season, but trust that God's plans are always for your ultimate good. God's orchestration is not limited to the big events in your life. He is also in the details, arranging even the smallest aspects of your journey. That chance encounter, that delay you didn't expect, or that door that didn't open, each of these moments is part of His divine choreography. What you perceive as a missed opportunity may be His way of guiding you to something far better. His timing is flawless, and His ways are higher than ours. Trusting in this truth allows you to release the need to control and instead rest in His sovereignty. Faith is the key to understanding God's orchestration. It requires surrendering your limited perspective and embracing the reality that God sees the entire picture. Faith is not about having all the answers, it is about trusting the one who does. When you walk by faith, you align yourself with God's vision for your life. You may not see the full path ahead, but you can trust that He is leading you to a place of abundance and purpose. In moments of struggle, remind yourself that God is not surprised by your circumstances. He is not scrambling to come up with a solution. He already has a plan in motion. Before you faced this challenge, He had already prepared a way through it. Before you cried out for help, He had already set the answer into motion. His foresight and provision are perfect, ensuring that nothing catches Him off guard. God's orchestration is not limited to your individual life, it is woven into the fabric of creation. He is at work in the lives of those around you, orchestrating encounters and relationships that serve His greater purpose. Sometimes the people He places in your life are there to help you grow, challenge you, or guide you. Other times you are the vessel He uses to bless and uplift others. Trust that every relationship and every connection is part of His divine plan. Even in seasons of pain and loss, God's orchestration is present. While the hurt may feel unbearable, it is often in these moments that His presence becomes most evident. He takes the broken pieces of your heart and creates something beautiful, something that testifies to His power and love. Your pain is not wasted, it is transformed into a testimony of His faithfulness. Through it all, He is with you, guiding you and holding you close. When you look back on your life, you will see the fingerprints of God in every moment. The trials you thought would break you, the delays you didn't understand, and the detours you didn't plan, they were all part of His divine orchestration. You will see how He used even the hardest moments to shape you, grow you, and position you for His blessings. Remember that God's perspective is eternal. While you may focus on the here and now, He sees the end from the beginning. He is not bound by time or circumstances. What feels like a delay to you is not a delay to Him, it is His perfect timing. Trust that His plans for you are good, filled with hope and a future that exceeds your imagination. In every season of your life, God is working. He is orchestrating a symphony of grace, weaving together every moment into a story of redemption, love, and purpose. When you align yourself with this truth, you find peace in the midst of uncertainty and hope in the face of hardship. Trust in His orchestration, for He sees you, knows you, and is guiding you toward a destiny far greater than you can imagine. Faith is the unseen force that ignites transformation, a divine spark that kindles hope and breathes life into what seems barren and lifeless. It is the bridge between your current reality and the future God has prepared for you. When everything around you seems to be falling apart, faith holds the power to rebuild, renew, and restore. It is not merely wishful thinking, but a profound alignment with the promises of God, trusting that He is faithful to fulfill what He has spoken. Faith is not dependent on circumstances. It does not rely on what the eyes see or the ears hear. Rather, it is rooted in the conviction of things hoped for and the assurance of things unseen. This conviction fuels perseverance in the face of adversity. It transforms uncertainty into opportunity and weakness into strength. Through faith, you can see beyond the present moment, envisioning a reality shaped by God's power and grace. Faith allows you to declare that what is unseen is more real than what is visible, for it draws from the eternal truth of God's Word. In moments of hardship, when the weight of life feels unbearable, faith whispers that renewal is not only possible but inevitable. Faith acknowledges the difficulty but refuses to be defined by it. It looks at a barren landscape and sees the potential for abundant harvest. It stares into the face of impossibility and proclaims that with God all things are possible. This divine assurance is not based on human ability, but on the limitless power of God, who specializes in bringing life from death and light from darkness. Faith is also active. It calls for action even when the outcome is uncertain. It compels you to take steps forward, trusting that God will meet you along the way. When you act in faith, you partner with the Creator, participating in His work of renewal. Think of the woman in the Bible who touched the hem of Jesus' garment, believing she would be healed. Her faith moved her to act, and her action brought her healing. Similarly, your faith, combined with action, becomes the catalyst for transformation in your life. Renewal begins when faith allows you to release the old and embrace the new. This often requires surrender, letting go of fear, doubt, and the need to control outcomes. Faith invites you to trust that God's plans for you are far greater than anything you could imagine. It shifts your focus from the limitations of the natural world to the infinite possibilities of the spiritual realm. In this space of trust, God begins His work of renewal, breathing fresh life into areas of your life that seemed dormant or dead. Faith is deeply personal but also profoundly relational. It connects you to God in an intimate way, aligning your heart with His will. Through faith, you begin to see yourself as God sees you, not as broken or inadequate, but as a beloved child with a divine purpose. This perspective empowers you to rise above challenges, knowing that you are not alone. God walks with you, guides you, and strengthens you as you step into the newness He has prepared for you. Renewal through faith is not an instant process. It unfolds over time, requiring patience and perseverance. Like a seed planted in the ground, the work of renewal often begins in hidden places, out of sight but not out of reach. Faith nurtures this growth, trusting that what is unseen will soon break through the surface. The delays and waiting periods are not wasted. They are part of the divine process, ensuring that what God brings forth in your life is strong, lasting, and fruitful. Through faith, you can find peace even in the midst of chaos. This peace comes from knowing that God is in control, working all things together for your good. It is a peace that surpasses understanding, guarding your heart and mind as you navigate the challenges of life. Faith anchors you, providing stability when everything else feels uncertain. It reminds you that renewal is not dependent on external circumstances but on the internal work of God within you. Faith also transforms the way you speak and think. It replaces negative self-talk with declarations of God's promises. Instead of saying, "I can't," faith proclaims, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." It shifts your perspective from lack to abundance, from fear to confidence, and from despair to hope. This transformation is the foundation of renewal, creating space for God's power to manifest in your life. Faith renews not only your circumstances but also your spirit. It draws you closer to God, deepening your relationship with Him and strengthening your trust in His goodness. As you walk in faith, you become a testimony of His grace, inspiring others to believe in the power of renewal. Faith does not merely change your life, it transforms the lives of those around you, spreading hope and light in a world that desperately needs it. In every moment of uncertainty, in every trial and challenge, faith remains the catalyst for renewal. It is the key that unlocks the door to God's promises, the force that propels you forward when everything else tells you to give up. Through faith, you discover the boundless possibilities of God's love and power, stepping into a life that is not only renewed but overflowing with His grace and glory. Your words possess immense power, a creative force that shapes the reality you experience. What you speak is not just an echo of your thoughts, but a declaration that sets things in motion in the unseen realm. Words are not empty, they carry energy, intention, and the ability to manifest outcomes. They reflect your beliefs and, in turn, shape the world around you. Whether you realize it or not, your words are constantly creating, building, and shaping your reality. Every word spoken is like a seed planted in the soil of life. Positive, affirming words plant seeds of hope, growth, and abundance, while negative, self-defeating words sow doubt, fear, and limitation. The harvest you reap depends on the words you choose to sow. The Bible reminds us, life and death are in the power of the tongue, emphasizing that our speech holds the potential to create life-affirming realities or destructive outcomes. The choice is yours to make with every word you utter. When you speak words of faith, love, and gratitude, you align yourself with the divine principles that govern creation. Words like I can, I will, and I am capable resonate with the higher truth of who you are in God's eyes. They affirm the power within you to overcome challenges and step into the fullness of your potential. These declarations activate a shift in your mindset, encouraging actions that bring your spoken words into reality. What you consistently affirm becomes the foundation of the life you build. The power of your words extends beyond mere positivity. It requires intentionality and alignment with truth. Speaking words carelessly, without thought to their impact, can lead to unintended consequences. When you say, I'm not good enough, or I'll never succeed, you give those thoughts life, allowing them to take root in your mind and actions. These statements may seem harmless, but over time they create a self-fulfilling prophecy, shaping a reality that aligns with those limiting beliefs. Changing your reality begins with transforming the way you speak. Start by becoming aware of your words and their energy. Speak with intention, choosing language that reflects the life you desire to create. Instead of focusing on lack, speak abundance. Instead of dwelling on failure, declare success. When faced with difficulties, let your words reflect trust in God's plan, saying, "This too shall pass," or "God is working this out for my good." These simple yet powerful affirmations set a tone of faith and hope. Consider the creative process God used in the beginning. He spoke, and it was so. "Let there be light," He said, and light came into existence. As beings created in His image, we too have the ability to speak things into existence through the power of our words. This does not mean you can create by will alone, but it highlights the divine principle that your words set spiritual laws into motion. When you align your speech with God's promises, you invite His creative power into your circumstances. Your words not only shape your own reality, but also influence the lives of others. A kind word can uplift a struggling soul, while a harsh word can wound deeply. The words you speak to those around you carry the potential to build them up or tear them down. Imagine the impact you could have by consistently speaking life, encouragement, and truth into the people you encounter. By doing so, you become a vessel for God's love, spreading positivity and hope in a world that so often lacks both. The practice of speaking words of affirmation and truth also rewires your mind. When you declare, "I am blessed, I am healed," or "I am strong," you begin to believe and embody those statements. This is not just spiritual, it is backed by the science of neuroplasticity, which shows that repeated affirmations can reshape neural pathways in your brain. By consistently speaking words of life, you retrain your mind to focus on possibilities, solutions, and the blessings already present in your life. In times of doubt or struggle, it may feel difficult to speak words of hope. Yet, these are the moments when it is most critical to guard your tongue. Speaking faith in the face of adversity is an act of spiritual defiance. It declares that your circumstances do not define you and that God's promises are greater than any temporary challenge. Even a simple, quiet thank you, Lord, can shift the atmosphere, reminding you of God's presence and power in your life. Speaking life is not about denying reality, but about choosing to see beyond it. It is about recognizing that your words have the power to call forth solutions, healing, and transformation. When you say, God is with me, you affirm a truth that transcends your immediate situation. When you declare, I am walking in victory, you align yourself with the ultimate outcome God has already prepared for you. Your words are tools given by God to co-create with Him. When you speak with faith, you participate in the unfolding of His divine plan for your life. Each word becomes a step forward, a building block in the reality you desire. As you align your speech with His word and promises, you position yourself to receive His blessings in greater measure. Let your words be a reflection of His truth, a declaration of His goodness, and an instrument of His will. Guard your speech, for it carries the weight of creation. Speak with intention, gratitude, and faith, knowing that your words have the power to shape not only your reality, but also the reality of those around you. Choose words that build, heal, and inspire, for in doing so, you align yourself with the creative power of God, bringing His light and love into every corner of your life. Hardship is not a punishment, but a divine tool, carefully wielded to shape you for a greater purpose. The challenges you face are not random or meaningless, they are intricately woven into God's plan for your life. Like a potter molds clay with precision and care, God uses adversity to shape your character, refine your faith, and prepare you for the unique calling He has placed on your life. Each difficulty you encounter is an opportunity for growth, a step closer to becoming the person God intends you to be. In moments of hardship, it is easy to question why you must endure pain, loss, or struggle. Yet these experiences often serve as the very catalysts for transformation. Hardship has a way of stripping away the superficial, forcing you to confront your deepest fears and limitations. It exposes the areas in your life that need healing, growth, and alignment with God's will. In this process of breaking and rebuilding, God is not abandoning you, He is refining you, preparing you to fulfill a purpose far greater than you can imagine. Adversity teaches resilience, a quality essential for fulfilling your divine calling. Life's hardships build spiritual muscle, strengthening you to endure and persevere through future challenges. Without resistance, there can be no growth. Just as a seed must push through the soil to reach the light, you must push through the struggles of life to reach your potential. Each trial you face strengthens your ability to trust in God, lean on His wisdom, and rely on His strength. It is in these moments of dependence that you discover the depths of His faithfulness. Hardship also draws you closer to God. In the valleys of life, when all seems lost, you are reminded of your need for His presence and guidance. These moments of vulnerability create space for a deeper connection with Him, allowing His love and grace to fill the void left by pain or disappointment. Through prayer, reflection, and surrender, you come to understand that God is not just present in your victories, but also in your struggles. He walks with you through the fire, ensuring that you are not consumed but purified. God often uses hardship to equip you with the tools and wisdom needed to fulfill your purpose. The lessons learned in difficult seasons become the foundation for your future. They teach you empathy, patience, and humility, qualities that prepare you to serve others and glorify God. Your pain becomes your testimony, a source of encouragement and hope for those who face similar struggles. The very experiences that once seemed like obstacles transform into stepping stones toward your destiny. Consider the biblical examples of individuals molded through hardship for divine purpose. Joseph endured betrayal, slavery, and imprisonment, yet each trial prepared him to become a leader who would save many lives. David faced rejection and persecution before becoming a king after God's own heart. Even Jesus Himself, though sinless, endured suffering to fulfill His ultimate purpose of redemption. These stories remind us that hardship is not the end of the story, but a crucial part of the journey toward fulfilling God's plan. In times of struggle, it is vital to shift your perspective. Instead of viewing hardship as a setback, see it as a setup for something greater. Trust that God is using every challenge to align you with His purpose. This trust does not negate the reality of pain, but reframes it within the context of God's sovereignty and goodness. It allows you to endure with hope, knowing that what the enemy meant for harm, God will use for your good. Hardship is also a test of faith, revealing what you truly believe about God and His promises. In moments of difficulty, you are faced with a choice to doubt His goodness or to cling to His word. Choosing faith in the midst of trials strengthens your relationship with Him, proving that your trust is not contingent on circumstances but rooted in His unchanging character. This unwavering faith becomes a powerful witness to others, demonstrating the strength and peace that come from walking with God. Through hardship, God shapes not only your character but also your vision. Difficult seasons have a way of clarifying your priorities, stripping away distractions, and aligning your focus with God's will. They remind you of what truly matters and redirect your attention to the eternal rather than the temporary. This refined vision enables you to pursue your purpose with greater clarity, conviction, and passion. Your hardship is not wasted. Every tear, every struggle, and every prayer whispered in the darkness has a purpose. God is weaving your story into a masterpiece, using even the broken pieces to create something beautiful. Trust that He is at work, molding you for a divine purpose that far exceeds anything you could imagine. Though the process may be painful, the outcome is worth it: a life transformed, a faith strengthened, and a purpose fulfilled. God's timing is a mystery that often defies our understanding but is always perfect in its unfolding. When life feels like a series of delays, detours, or disappointments, it is easy to wonder why God's plans seem so different from our own. Yet His timing operates on a divine schedule that far exceeds human comprehension. He sees the beginning and the end, orchestrating every moment with precision to fulfill His perfect plan. What may feel like a delay to us is, in truth, a divine alignment of events that ensure the best outcome for our lives. Trusting God's timing requires faith, especially when the waiting feels endless or the path ahead seems unclear. We often want answers now, blessings immediately, and resolutions without delay. However, God works in seasons, each with its purpose. There are times to plant, times to wait, and times to harvest. Rushing ahead or forcing outcomes disrupts the divine rhythm He has set. Patience, though challenging, becomes an act of trust, a declaration that His ways are higher than ours, and that His plans will always prevail. God's plans are far greater than anything we could envision for ourselves. The Bible tells us, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." This promise assures us that even when life feels chaotic or uncertain, God is in control. His plans are not limited by our circumstances, fears, or mistakes. He can turn any situation, no matter how dire, into a stepping stone toward a greater purpose. Consider the moments in your life when things did not go as planned. Perhaps a door closed, a relationship ended, or an opportunity slipped away. At the time, it may have felt like failure or loss, but with hindsight, you can see how God used those experiences to redirect you towards something better. What seemed like a setback was in fact a setup for His greater plan. God's timing ensures that we receive what we need, not always what we want, and always at the right moment. In the waiting, God is not idle. He is preparing you for what lies ahead. Sometimes the delay is necessary for your growth and refinement. Just as a tree requires time to take root and grow strong before bearing fruit, you too need time to develop the character, wisdom, and faith required to handle the blessings and responsibilities God has prepared for you. The waiting is not wasted, it is a season of preparation, pruning, and positioning. Throughout Scripture, we see examples of God's perfect timing at work. Abraham and Sarah waited decades for the fulfillment of God's promise of a child, and though their faith wavered, God's promise came to pass exactly as He intended. Joseph endured years of hardship before stepping into his role as a leader who would save many lives. Even Jesus, in His earthly ministry, often reminded His followers that His hour had not yet come, emphasizing the importance of waiting for the appointed time. God's timing also protects us. We may not realize it, but unanswered prayers or delayed blessings often shield us from harm or prepare us for something better. If every request were granted immediately, we might miss out on the growth, perspective, and opportunities that come from the waiting. God's delays are not His denials, they are His way of ensuring that His plans unfold in a way that maximizes our good and His glory. When life feels uncertain and it seems as though God is silent, remember that His silence is not absence. He is working behind the scenes, orchestrating circumstances and aligning events in ways you cannot see. Trusting in His timing means releasing control, surrendering your desires, and placing your faith in His infinite wisdom. It is an act of humility to acknowledge that His view is eternal, while ours is limited to the present moment. Living in alignment with God's timing requires a posture of gratitude and surrender. Instead of focusing on what has not yet come to pass, thank Him for what He is doing in the present. Celebrate the small victories, the lessons learned, and the growth experienced during the waiting. Gratitude shifts your perspective, allowing you to see the beauty and purpose in every season, even those that feel challenging or slow. God's plans for you are intricately connected to His plans for others. His timing often weaves together the lives, stories, and purposes of many people, creating a tapestry of grace and redemption. What may seem like a delay in your life could be the perfect timing for someone else. Trust that He is working all things together for good, as He promises in His Word. When you place your trust in God's timing, you experience a peace that transcends understanding. The pressure to force outcomes, chase opportunities, or worry about the future fades away. Instead, you can rest in the assurance that God is faithful, His promises are true, and His plans are always for your good. Though the path may not always be clear, and the waiting may feel long, trust that His timing is perfect and His plans are greater than anything you could ever imagine. In the journey of life, it's easy to become impatient and frustrated when things don't unfold as quickly or in the way we expect. Yet God's timing is perfect and His plans are greater than anything we could imagine. While we may struggle with delays, detours, and seasons of waiting, it's important to remember that these moments are not wasted. They are part of God's divine purpose, carefully orchestrated to shape us, prepare us, and position us for His greater plan. God's timing ensures that everything happens according to His perfect will. In His infinite wisdom, He knows exactly when we are ready to receive the blessings He has prepared for us. Sometimes the waiting is a season of growth, refinement, and spiritual maturity, making us more capable of handling the promises He will deliver. What we perceive as setbacks may, in fact, be God's way of redirecting us towards something even better. Trusting in God's timing requires surrender and faith. It means letting go of our own plans and desires and trusting that His plan is far greater than our own. When we place our trust in Him, we experience peace, knowing that He is in control. No matter the season, God is working behind the scenes, aligning circumstances for our good. As we wait and trust in His perfect timing, we can rest assured that the best is yet to come.